It's October 1st, 2021. I know for some people this is a reality. This is the sports crew in humanity. They're talking about Tom Brady. Apparently he's returning to New England. I didn't know he left. I mean, again, I don't really, there's so much that goes on and so little purpose in having to watch it.
But as you guys are just talking about this weekend, for the first time, he will step onto this field as the opponent. Tom Brady.
But apparently he's almost like a mini god or a demigod from what I can decipher from the humans speaking. I don't feel the same. I mean, like, he's important. I can see by his facial features that he's one of the clan of importance, but I don't follow the career, and I've never really interacted with like his level of importance.
Is back. Arguably the greatest quarterback ever, returning for the first time to the place where he built his legendary career.
This is not my life. My kids like football. I've just on the weekends when they're away from me.
Helping the franchise win 6 Super Bowls.
The franchise, that's a key up word.
New home in Tampa, winning another Super Bowl in his first season in Florida. Let's go! The celebrations in Tampa include.
I've never even been invited to this many boats in one area, ever. I took a ferry once from some portside land, dry land, across some waterway to something called a Governor's Island for some private underground concert the name was Oscar G. It was Nora Tiafrio and Anthony Tiafrio. Nora's 1978. Anthony Tiafrio's 1975. They took me there once to watch some, I don't know if you call it house music or techno, but it was just beats, which is what I like. But it was the first time I'd ever been to a concert or an outdoor event or whatever. It was on a 4th of July. But this kind of stuff, not my echelon.
Including that boat parade and a trophy toss.
I didn't even know humans did this.
Sturdy Brady soaking in the championship. Back to business this season. This matchup finds Brady and former Patriot tight end Rob Gronkowski back in Gillette Stadium.
It would be great to see everyone after the game, but...
Again, I didn't even know Gillette had a stadium. That's the razor company, right? They've got razors and deodorant. That's all I know.
But up until game, I'm focused on trying to go win a football game.
A raspy-voiced Brady speaking to reporters after practice on Thursday.
I still have a lot of great friends there, but they know I want to kick their butt this week.
Brady and Gronk preparing to face their former coach, Bill Belichick.
Look forward to the opportunity and the challenge.
I've heard his name. I didn't know. Is that really him? So they're saying that's Bill Belichick. I've heard the name. I don't know how, but I have not seen the face in my humanness while I've been held in isolation and captive. But I know this football thing is important to some areas of humans. And on that note, I want to pause this for a second because I want to make light of, I want to shed light, not make light of something. And I'm in a country, or I'm in a symbol for their sport that pledges, well, they don't pledge allegiance, but they sing a national anthem to this symbol, which is important under their contracts with franchise of some sort. I heard Ice-T this morning make mention of everybody has an individual constitution. That's important because usually the humans make mention of the Constitution of the United States of America, like as if we all share just one. Nobody ever seems to make that distinction that we have individual constitution as well. I mean, these are important facts nobody seems to point out. I'm pausing this for 1 second. I'm star 1978, star 8378, Nicole Cattaruzza. I'm in Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361. There's a gigantic psychological profile difference. This is the art. This is called Pepsi that Lewis and Linda like. I hate it. I think it's some of the ugliest art ever. It shows lines and caving systems, and it shows melting. It's not my cup of tea. I have to walk backwards down the stairs because of my knee mechanics at the moment. I have swelling inside the bursa joint, and so my hinge joint doesn't, to preserve it, I walk backwards. Now this is my grandfather's art. This is more my genre. This is the world as it could be. Even here, though, there's a little bit of the pressure gradient coming in on one another. I can see it clear as day with the way that he was painting it. But there, I don't have any art here that's my... I bought a painting once in New Jersey. It was a painting of the 1800s, supposedly what they classify as 1800s. It was of horse and carriages on cobblestone and like an old, for me it was Cape May, but then they put an Eiffel Tower in the back, which was weird. That was the only part of it that I was like, because I really like Cape May, New Jersey. You want to talk about one town that's spot on, like perfect in the way that they kept their housing just all antique, like New England, gorgeous and preserved. I mean, I'd move there in a heartbeat. Whatever they did there and whoever's running that operation, I mean, like, kudos. Absolutely amazing. It was beautiful. I just am in dirty, disgusting New York. All right, I'm pausing this for one more second so I don't run out of memory. All right, some of the streets have been repaved, but this section I can still catch. I told NYPD this morning, I'm like, see these cracks in the pavement? They're like stress fractures. That's what I awoke to on my skin. Those are pressure stress fractures. It's like if you have a grape, which is why we use it, and you squish a grape, at some point the skin's gonna pop and some of the pulp might come out. And depending on how hard you push on it, it's a stress fracture. I mean, it happens to the human skin. What happened was I was sleeping overnight in 1999, somewhere in 1998 to 1999. I have to think about this. And I awoke, and my perfect skin that had 100% integrity had never been broken, had never been stressed or fractured. I mean, I had gained slight bits of weight, but I was able to scale it back, no stretch marks whatsoever. I awoke and my skin looked like the street top that I just showed. It just stress popped. I just told NYPD today, October 1st, 2021, I'm like, I don't have an agency to report this to. I mean, like, doctors have known about it. I've had surgery, they've seen it, and right now I look very hypoxic, but I'm like, but there's no direct place for me to report something like a stress fracture on the top of the skin. And I tried, I mean, like, how do you tell... And I told the officer that looks like Tony DeCopel, which is a Channel 2 news interviewer. He's actually probably my favorite NYPD officer to speak with if I have some communicative piece that I need to get across with an authority on surveillance camera to protect myself. Since I don't have agency or an agent to directly report to when these major biological attacks and changes in weather pattern, climate, and my biology happen. But it's happening to me since I was little. just nothing's ever been established for me to have a direct line of communication. So I'm at a loss. I'm trying to build a system that doesn't exist but is much needed, and try not to get further punished for bringing or shedding light on something that's really serious and important from my nothingness because of somebody else's decision to keep me away from where I belong with Nicholas, which is what I call the stage is Nicole. It's Nicholas, ... and Nicole. That's the safety unit. That's the closed safety unit for the environment being protected for what the purpose I was sent for. But instead, I was moved from that safety feature to a Jason Anthony Nicole, which split the blacktop and pressure changes. And also I have the pressure changes happen up my stomach, those exact scratch marks, and on my thighs, my upper thigh areas, into my hip area. It's just sleeping overnight, and when I awoke, my skin, I had gone through some kind of ecological event that nobody talks about, was not on the news programs, was not anywhere, and I awoke to, they were bright red cracks in my skin, and they hurt, but not hurt, I mean, it's trauma. So I explained to my mother, I said, what do you call them? I was like, is this normal? Is this because I'm pregnant? Is this because, like, why did this happen? Like, who should I report this to? I'm like, they look like they should be bleeding. That's how scary they are, Mom. And she's like, they're just stretch marks. It's just no big, that's, I guess women get them, you know? And I'm like, women get them? I was like, what are you talking about? Women get them. She's like, sometimes it happens with the weight change when you're pregnant. And she made it sound like everybody, like it happened to anybody. How are you guys? So, but the scary thing is that they were so bright red because it had stretched and cracked open the skin so far. It was like a surgical knife flay of my skin, almost like a butcher flay. In several areas, down to a point where it was not a capillary rupture, so there was no bleeding per se, but the skin itself was definitely damaged to a really scary point. And then some healing took place, and when it healed, it had like this shiny, silvery, weird skin that grew in. It's very abnormal, but again, nobody seems to have the same story, which I understand, but there's no place to report it. So this way I know and have some assurity that I'm protected, and I don't really know. I mean, like, it's just, you're just kept in the dark. It's just really scary. I really don't like anything about being human. Star 1978, star 8378, Nicole Cattaruzza.